weirdly, Aries, for you, I get a Shakespearean quote, "To thine own self be true," which Shakespeare wasn't an Aries. I don't know what he was. Might have been a Taurus. Let me know in the comments if you know what star sign Shakespeare was. Maybe we don't know. But "to thine own self be true" is a very Aries statement because you are the first sign of the zodiac. So what this is kind of making me think is that you're having some kind of trouble holding the line, being yourself, fundamentally being Aries. Okay, and then 3 cards popped out. Wowzers. Yeah, this makes sense to me actually. We get the 8 of Cups, which is fundamentally about an ending or distancing yourself from something that is no longer, you're no longer able to kind of tolerate, or you feel you need a different version of it. 8 of Cups, Saturn in Pisces. It's quite a serious card, and you're a fire sign and you generally don't suffer fools gladly, okay? But there's an emotional charge to this. This could be to do with work situation. It could be to do with a family situation. It could be to do with a love situation. You can tell here, you know, there's either been a really, really quite good party outdoors, or there's this, I'm done with this. I can't do this any longer. I can't keep putting up with this. And it's weird because for Sagittarius, I got like a foot standing on somebody, like, I'm going to keep you down. And for you, I get this kind of batting someone off. Yeah, what my mum used to call batting someone off with a shitty stick. And I'm getting those vibes, not literally. So the 8 of Cups is telling us, that's interesting, the 8 of Cups is telling us that you have decided to put distance between yourself and something, someone, even just, it can be this part of it. So let's say it was a work thing. You could have been doing extra work or extra time, you know, overtime. And you're like, I cannot be doing with this any longer. I need the money, but I also cannot be doing with it. It's ruining me. Or it could be a friendship or whatever ship that you've got going on with somebody who, maybe it's an old friend, it's an old tie, maybe it's a new friend, but it's something, some aspect that you can't get with. You're like, I can't tolerate this. Well, actually, do you know what, Aries? Listen up. I think the biggest problem is you can tolerate it. And you will tolerate it. But you're now, it's like you've been operating, sort of watching yourself as a third person. You've been like looking down and thinking, why am I not saying anything? Why am I not saying anything? And what's gradually going to come in for you as you get the energies around this time of this reading, whenever you see it, what's coming in is a sense of rejoining yourself in the scene and just looking up and thinking, no, I'm done. I'm done. Father of Wands, King of Wands. Notice here we've got a snake. And this is the kind of snake they used to use for snake charming. And what I'm getting channeled, this is so weird. You know when it's in the old Indiana Jones films, and I think they would have like a rush basket, and this snake would like come out, and there'd be a snake charmer making this snake do what they wanted. And sometimes that snake, because it was kind of riled, it was kind of angry, and also I guess it was kind of trapped. And now and again, it would get the better of the snake charmer. It would be like, however snakes do that. I'm not particularly good at miming. Oh God, what was that? I don't know what that was. Actually blushing. They'd have a go. They might even kill the person. They might bite somebody. They're ready to I've had enough. And that is the sense that I'm getting from you in this situation. Yes. Because I then get the Fool. Major Arcana, new beginnings, starting over, the Zero. You're ready for a new start. You are ready for a new start. You've never been readier. And at the same time, we never feel quite ready. That's the thing. That's what being human is all about, Aries, isn't it? We feel, it's like your body's revving up and your mind is vaguely clinging on somewhere and going, oh God, I'm not so sure. Because I don't know if you've ever seen, and please don't, because it's just awful. I accidentally saw, it's like David Attenborough should sometimes come with a, mild peril warning for sensitive souls like me. It was baby birds learning to fly, and the mum was just kind of belting them off the branch. And some of them were ready and they just flew. And let's just say that some of them weren't ready. Okay? It was traumatic. Clearly, I'm never going to forget it. When you get the Fool card, especially when it's done with the Wild Unknown Tarot like this one, Aries, you are sometimes forced into flight. I'm going to write that down because that is important. You're sometimes forced into flight. And sometimes, and this is going to sound so tea-towelly, what can I say? Sorry. Sometimes, God, it's so cringe. That's how you get your wings. There you go, I said it. That's how you get your wings. You don't know you have wings. I'm going to mime the wings now. Oh, I've got something in my eye. Sorry, I've got like an eyelash or something. It's driving me freaking insane. You don't know that you have the wings basically until life kicks you off the perch. Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm going to write that down too. But as an Aries, you adapt very well, very quickly. You have a lot of vim and vigour and fire as an Aries. So don't worry, once you get kicked off the perch, you kind of, either life is kicking you off the perch, but you're kind of also volunteering. This is going to come pretty soon after you hear this reading. You're not going to see it coming. I don't have the Tower card yet, but we'll see. By the way, I'm going to read here for all sorts. Career channeled messages, life purpose, then love life. There's also an extended reading if you really get on with the love part. If that's for you, it's the first link in the description box afterwards. I think when you get going, you're going to wonder why you didn't do it sooner. But when it happens fairly shortly after this, you may think that you're not ready at the time. So try and remember this reading when this happens to you. I don't know why I'm making so many notes for you. But try and remember what we're saying now, because it will be a bit of a shock. And you may think, oh, God, it may be quite scary. And you're like, I'm not ready. Let's go. Did I say not ready? Father of Wands or the King of Wands is pretty cool once he gets going. It's a very Aries card. You're pretty cool when you get, you're pretty hot when you get going. But sometimes as well, what I'm getting channeled for you, Aries, is, God, I haven't got eyeliner on my hand. I'm getting channeled that sometimes the anxiety or the need to have a wobble, the wobble that comes before you do what you do. This is particularly for Aries. My boy is an Aries, so I've watched this from knee high to very, very, very tall. And I've noticed that the wobble is sometimes just a necessary part of the process. And before, I would take the wobble really, well, I always take it seriously, but I'd be like, oh my God, I'll have to intervene. There's a wobble. Oh my God, how can I compensate? Pisces mother. And then I would notice that he'd be all right. He'd have this wobble, and then it would be like, oh yeah, I'm doing X, Y, and Z now. And I'd be like, if that would have flattened me, I'd be in a puddle. But for you, Aries, it's the best way to get you to fly. So imagine that the snake bites you on the backside and off you go. But do remember as well, and I think this is really important, do remember that this is coming from an emotional place. Give yourself a break with it. Yeah, you've got the feistiness. Yeah, you're going to flap those wings and fly, and that is great. It's necessary, actually, to get you to the next part that you need to be at and to move the energy along that has been stagnant, because actually Aries can't really deal with stagnant energy. But at the same time, there's an emotional part to it that you should pay attention to. Well, that's a nice card to get. Okay. Next card we get for you is the Moon. That's not a very Aries card, but also pay attention to the moon cycles, to the full moons when it's time to let something go, and to the new moons. And also, the new moons are times when you want to be planting the seeds, obviously, but also to the eclipses. Now, where is it? Yeah, partial solar eclipse, new moon in Aries, 29th of March, okay? Just look out for it. Oh, yes, okay. Particularly, that's the next one coming up to look out for. You could see, it could all wait until then. I get more of an immediate sense for this, but it could just be that this is when you get bitten on the backside, and that the actual flight takes place a bit later. It's actually not that long until March. I know it sounds weird. Okay, so the moon is the subconscious. There's a lot more to what you want and what's going on than meets the eye. So don't be afraid to meet it in the eye. Don't be afraid to meet the universe or the person, the situation, eye to eye. You also get Daughter of Swords, which is like Page of Swords. And this is something emerging out of this somewhat chaotic flight, somewhat jumping off point. This is a message, a conversation, a piece of information, making sense of something, starts to unravel. And I'm glad, because this is like a new idea. So it would be something to do on a new moon, a seed to sow on a new moon. Yes. Wheel of Fortune, one of my favourites as well. It just looks so beautiful, isn't it? It's so gorgeous. And also for me, it's got kind of eclipse vibe going on, which is interesting. Notice the owl as well, wisdom. And here we had it in the Page of Swords. This could be you. I'm going to do your love reading now with a different deck. This could be you, Aries, with a new idea, a new business, or just a new relationship, but it's you moving. It's you in movement, which is where Aries always should be. Okay. Should we look at your love life? Woof! God, it made my stomach rumble for some reason. Scarlet Rose Tarot. The hottest tarot in town. DISCO. Okay. This one. Ooh. Hate getting that card for Aries. I'll tell you why, because it always means, and I always get, I'm going to get it, I'm going to get, haters will hate. It always means there is something slightly from the past. Doesn't mean an ex necessarily, doesn't mean anything like that necessarily, but it does mean there's just hints of something from back along. It's a very interesting card, Judgment. If we get the Six of Cups as well, then all right, I'm gonna introduce the X factor. But without the Six of Cups, it's, oh, that's nice. It's more of a, this theme is coming up again for you in your love life. It could be a good theme. We don't know. You then have the King of Swords. This is a very interesting character. King of Swords is somebody who is witty and intelligent, usually a bit mysterious, quite steely in some aspects. Now, it can be somebody that you found difficult to know, as in they've been a little bit mysterious, they've been a little bit out of reach. Let me take another card for it. Four of Swords, okay. Four of Swords is like taking your foot off the relationship gas. Oh, look at you. Aries, look at you. With your Eight of Cups again. By gum. Okay. This is what I'm getting for you. I don't know where it's coming from. It has come up for a couple of other signs. Male authority, father figures, divine masculine, masculine energy, patriarchy, whatever you want to call it. However that was for you, in terms of maybe you had quite conservative parents, maybe you had quite authoritarian parents, maybe your self-expression was limited somewhat in the relationships you had familiarly as you were growing up. Something about this is in your love life ether at the moment. You have not been honest about who you are. And I don't mean in terms of you lying. Aries generally don't lie. I have a boy who's an Aries, very early Aries. He's so Aries. Terrible liar. Hardly ever bothers to try. And on the times when he has, I've looked at him, he just cracks. He cracks after nothing, you know, not dealing with no Scorpio. So you've not been able to say your bit, be honest, be clear. Which for an Aries, or to express yourself as really who you are. Something about this is keeping you in suspense somehow. But this is a card of release, the Ace of Cups. Yes, the Devil. Aries, you're releasing any toxic pattern or difficulty. I'm just going to get rid of myself for a minute there. That doesn't help you to soar, to fly, to move on, to be successful. And in your love life, some of you may have been pursuing somebody or in pursuit of something, and it's time to take your foot off the gas. It's time to distance yourself from any person or behaviour that is not resonating with you. Or, I mean, nothing is all glitter and unicorns all the time. But it's time that you put distance, and you already are, between you and anything that rings an old bell. You're like, Yeah, I remember feeling this before. This is familiar to me. I get this. That one. Yeah. 5 of Cups. And then for you, it's the job of grieving what you've lost, stepping away from what you shouldn't be near anymore, grieving for the chance it might once have had, feeling somewhat cheated by something. But at the same time, I'm going to take a couple of these cards as well. Yeah. 2 of Swords. Black hole sun. Nice. There's the snake again. You are in a chapter here of... Oh, and you. Hello. Ooh. King of Swords again. I have air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius possibly, but also this clarity of vision. The other thing I'm getting for you, Aries, is to be with the King of Swords, you've got to become the King of Swords. You've got to be on your absolute A game here. And for some of you, that might be too much. And for some of you, it's worth it. 2 of Swords is like a holding pattern. The universe wants you to see something about this, wants you to feel something about this, wants you to know something about this. And the world is a cycle. God, it's giving me a nose. The world is a cycle of making you whole again. And if that requires you to distance yourself from danger, then you will. But there is promise in this as well. There is a clean quality to this that really does interest me. Aries, by gum. In the extended reading for you, Aries, I'm going to dig right into the other person again, and this has happened in a lot of readings recently. The other person, apart from popping up King of Swords styly, is somewhat behind a veil, somewhat hidden, somewhat whatever. So I'm going to take cards for your person. How do they feel? What's going on? Dig, 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 dig. I'm going to dig. Let's have a love oracle card for you. That one wants to come out. Ooh, sparks. Yeah, keep the sparks flying. There is a spark. It's not easy, this reading, but there's something like a bit like a random firework or a shooting star. God, I'm coming out with all the cliches today. I'm sorry, you just copped all my cliches, Aries. What can I say? Whack them on a tea towel, stick them on a post on Facebook. There's a shooting star. There's one of those surprise rockets, like when you think this is what I'm getting channeled. You think the firework display has finished, but there's one more rocket to go off. I'm going to go do the extended reading. First link in the description box. Leave me a comment. Love you, Aries. Namaste.